First of all, thank you for inviting me and having me over here. I was told this afternoon that, Priya, could you come over and have a chat with the guys from HDFC? I said, chat? What about? I was told just anything that they'll find useful. So, I thought in that short period of time, I thought I'll prepare myself, which we all do, don't we? When we have to go to work, no matter where we have to go, we begin with preparation. And then when you come over to a room like this, to a gathering like this, in front of a successful bunch of guys like you wonder, what was that all about? Should I say all that or should it be something else? So that's the same situation with me right now. I didn't know I would be standing behind something like this because this is not my style at all. So you find me a little uncomfortable. Just like Ramesh said, I am a corporate trainer by profession, and you know how corporate trainers are, they walk and talk, They don't stand in one place. So standing and talking is a bit of a, they've put me in a cage and I have to stand here and talk. So if you find me move away or making myself comfortable, please excuse me there. Now we all prepare, don't we? Now you have all come here this evening, you prepared. You decided on what you were going to wear, your dress, or how you were going to travel here, how you were going to make yourself look pretty, all of that. We start preparation not now, we start it right from when we are in kindi, right? Parents tell which school kids should go to. They prepare how to apply for admission. Then they decide on, how they should get to a better school. Then they have to approach an interview again when they have to get into college. That's not over. Then they have to apply for a job, go for an interview, decide how to talk, how to walk, how to enter the room and all of that. Then they have to prepare again to move on in their career. So we all prepare all the time, don't we? Now all of you, as I understand, are in the home loan industry, lending business. Some lend, some support them, some are in processing. All are equally important. Would you agree? Yeah? All are equally important. You couldn't do without each other. So now, given that, if I were to ask the managers, what is it that you sell to the customers? If I were to ask specifically the lending guys, what is it that you sell to customers? Do you sell your products or is it something else that you sell? Who would like to volunteer and give me a reply on that? Just a show of hands, how many managers do we have here who sell loans? Yeah? I'm sure there's more, yeah? All of you? So what is it that you sell? If I were to ask one of you, do you sell your company's products or is it something else that you sell? Customer satisfaction. So you don't sell the products at all to the customer. You sell the benefits, don't you? Yeah? The customer is not interested in what you know. They want to know how much you care. You would have heard about this before. Yeah? The customer does not care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. This is one of my favorite lines I always use in corporate business. Yeah? So you have to then mold your product to suit the customer's needs. If you go and tell the customer, I have a housing loan and with that comes a free car and a cheaper car loan and a this and a that. Maybe they don't need any of that. All they are looking for is probably a home loan with a lower mortgage payment every month. So if you tell them about everything else, do they care? No. So we have to first identify your customer. I'm sure you do your know your customer thing before you even speak about your products. Now, we do all of this, that is great. And why have we been able to do all of this? Because we've been given an opportunity to be in a situation which enables you to do that. Now, being a Bhagavad Gita preacher, if you want to call that, I have learned from the Gita. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge whatever I'm sharing here with you, none of these ideas, none of your ideas are original. They have all come from the Supreme Lord. If you pick up the Gita, has anyone here picked up the Gita and read what's in it? Anybody at all? Well, if you haven't, I'll give you some hints here, and that will make you pick it up right tonight itself, if you have one at home. Gita is not just philosophy, it's a science on how you can lead your life better. How you can do what you're already doing better than what you're doing. Okay. So I have learned from the Gita, there are 5 things that influence action. 5 things. No matter what you do, right from drinking a cup of coffee or arranging a cake. or having fun. 5 things. 1, the place of action. Yeah? If you want to work happily and be in a good job, the environment has to be good, right? You need a good employer. You need a good boss like Ramesh. Who'll bring you all here for some fun. Yeah? What if it's a serious business? You wouldn't want to be with someone who is always serious, looking behind your shoulder. 2, the circumstance. If you want to excel, you need to have the right circumstance, the right team, the right support. For sales managers, if the support team don't support you, it's not going to happen. Now, these are not my words. It's in the Gita, okay? You might have heard this in the management learnings also. I'm mentioning the word Gita over and over again, so we all realize the importance that it's all come from the Supreme Lord. The Creator has sent it to us. Then, the attempts, the endeavor. Managers, if you sit back and relax, will your customers come to you? You go out and seek them, don't you? You go out, find more customers, then by word of mouth they refer to you, or however it is that you do. Whatever the best strategy that it might be for you. So we have the place of action. We have the circumstances that create things and make things happen. We have your attempts, your endeavors. Then we have the most important thing. The most important is not yet come, but one of the most. That's you. The doer. You have everything. You have a good company, you have a good boss, you have good customers, you have many referrals. But what about the doer? The doer has to do it. You have the capacity, you have the potential. You might have heard all this. You can do it. But then it doesn't get done until you do it. And above all is the supreme will. Now that's what I want you to concentrate on today. Sometimes we do things and we wonder, why is the result not the way it should be? Does that happen to you? You have put in all the hard works. When we get all our targets achieved, we are very pleased, aren't we? Who is not pleased when you achieve your targets? No one. But when we all achieve our targets, I'm sure you celebrate at home. You go and tell your wife, I got it done. I nailed it. Do you do that? Yes or no? Do you go out and tell everyone when you haven't nailed it? No. It's written all over your face that I have not achieved my target. And we find various reasons for why that did not take place. Yes? Yeah? Now, the Gita teaches us, whilst it's wonderful to succeed and celebrate what you have achieved, it's also important that you deal with situations when you're on the low and come out of it. Yeah? That's called being equipoised. Is that easy? No. It's not easy. It's natural for us to celebrate when we get something what we want, and it's also natural to feel low when we don't get what we want. So being equipoised doesn't come easy. It comes with practice. Yeah? That's what Krishna says to Arjuna. Arjuna, in fact, asked this question to Krishna. There is no question that we can think of that Arjuna has already not asked. Isn't that interesting? You know, when I was in training, because I've been in training, I have written a lot of manuals and training books and all these kind of things. And I thought, this is pretty good. It's going good. And I only felt so small when I picked up the Gita and realized that, oh, none of this is original. You know how they write on the left-hand side, copyright Priya Iyer, Westpac Banking Corporation. I thought my name shouldn't even be there. The author is Krishna. He's already said it in the Gita. So, there is a blog that I wrote one time about anticipation and preparation. It's a bit like driving on the road in India. Of course, you all know no one follows rules here. There's no such thing as rules. Yeah? How many of you drive by rules here in India? None. There's no such thing. Yeah? I have only just got my license. It's taken me 4 years to get my license, to get behind the wheel. I thought I could never do it. Now I manage in my local area, maybe within Parsanam, But I'm still proud of that, considering where I have been, Nobody jumps on the road. The first lesson that I learned when I was driving in Australia, I was told, don't worry, Priya, just stick to your lane and no one will jump at you. I had to throw that rule out the window when I came here. Here, everybody jumps at you, not just people. You have a dog, an occasional cat, or a bullock cart, or the water cans, or anything. So Krishna says that in the Gita also, mind you. It's not an original here, what I'm saying. He says, happiness and distress, they are like seasons, changing seasons. Has anyone had in your working history, who has worked for the company for more than 5 years? More than 5 years, please, show of hands. Most of you, wonderful. Now can you tell me, if I told you, look at your career progress chart over a period of 7 years, let's say. Has it always been the same? Has there been dips? Yes, certainly. If you want the rises, dips will be there. And that comes in chapter 2 of the Gita. That's called anticipating. When you anticipate that I'm on a high now, I'm doing really well, I'm on a peak right now, but mind you, the dip will come. And I have to get over it, and I have to rise up. And not look for borrowed motivation. Have you heard that before? Borrowed motivation. I heard this one time. I was listening to a great speaker called John Maxwell. If you haven't read his books, there's this book called 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. In that he says, and he was talking about that book, he was launching that book. He says, as he was saying that, in fact, he called his wife to the stage. I like to share this. And he said, does anyone want to ask a question to my wife? And this person said, let's say her name is Mary. I'm not too sure what it was. Mary, does John make you happy? And she replied, no, John doesn't make me happy. John was shocked, just as any husband would. An auditorium full of people, quite close to 10,000 people. Huge crowd. John doesn't make me happy. Then she said, but I'd like to add, John has added to my happiness. I am responsible for my own happiness. We all have to remember that. We are responsible for our own happiness. If you decide to be happy, you can be happy. See, the thing to remember is, you can only allow other outside things to impact you if you're going to react to it. If you're not willing to accept it, nothing can faze you, you see. That's what Krishna says to Arjuna. He says, yes, you have to fight the war, and on the opposite side, who was standing? Now you must know the story from the Mahabharata. Arjuna had to fight the Kauravas, and on the other side, who was standing? It was not just enemies, you see. It was family. It was family. It was his uncles. It was people like his parents. It was his children. And then, most important of all, his gurus. Who would want to raise a hand towards the guru? Bhishma, Dronacharya. So you know what Krishna said? You have to do your duty just for the sake of duty. You do your job well, regardless whether you're going to meet your target or not is immaterial. You sell the benefits to the customer. You don't sell the product so that you can get them to sign on the dotted line so that you meet your target. That's not relevant. You might get a customer today, 4 will walk out tomorrow. It's easy to get a customer. I've always said this in my sales seminars when I used to look after priority banking. It's easy to get a customer. It's hard or harder to retain them. Is it true or not? Would you agree, managers? Yes. They might sign on the dotted line. It's only until a competitor comes over and sells a better product or appeals to them better. You are not selling the product. You are building a relationship that has to last a long time. Not today, not tomorrow. That's how you create a portfolio. The portfolio should be the same over years, you know. If a portfolio changes every 6 months, there's a problem. There's a problem. That's what we look at. How long has this customer been there? Customer since. You know, when we do an inquiry, I'm sure you do your homework before you go and meet a customer. You know, you look at their history and you look at how many people are there in the relationship. You know, we call it a relationship. Is that what you call here? Relationship. In the whole family. The customer is not the only people. You see potential people that can become customers. And you look at a very important thing, you see, customer since. maintaining a relationship and doing your duty just for the sake of duty. So when we anticipate and prepare accordingly, and you prepare to give the best to your clients, the result has got to be good. If it's not good today, it will be good tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. However, if you're hung up on the result, very likely, at some point, you will get frustrated when you don't get the desired results. Does that happen? Because you've already walked in thinking, this is what I want. Now we are getting to a very important point. Who is this I? Does I refer to you as a sales manager or a back office processor or a peon or the person serving here right now in the ballroom? Who is this I? That is the biggest difference between the West and the East. Look at the language. I'm going to use a Tamil line here if you don't mind. I'm sure everyone understands Tamil here. In English, if you're unwell and if I asked you, how are you? You reply saying, I'm not well. I am not well. The same question, Tamil keta, doctor to poi. What do we say? Who can tell me? I am not well. Either doctor kitta neenga Tamil sonna, what would you say? Udambu shariyillai. What's the two answers? One is, I am not well. One is, Udambu shariyillai. Have you ever tried to analyze this line, Udambu shariyillai? That just means you and Udambu are two different things. Yes or no? Oh. So, nama daily peshara pechliye, in everyday talks that we conduct, there is so much spirituality and deep meaning. We never think about all this, do we? Never. But look at the West. I am not well because they identify themselves with their bodies. I am Priya. I am a corporate trainer. I am a guest speaker here today. I have achieved all these glories in my life. But if you take all these away, now I'm not trying to put a pessimistic spin on this, but when a person dies, we say the body is lying. We don't say the general manager or the CEO is lying. Do we? Body edukkaradhukku vandirukana dhaan solluvom. We don't say CEO edukka vandirukana solluvala yarada. I have never heard it at least. He was a great man. Yes, we say that. We acknowledge that. Why am I saying this? We just celebrated a birthday that gave me a thought. And I say this in my Gita classes. Every time we sing happy birthday songs, yes, celebrate it. I'm sorry, Ramesh, if it sounds pessimistic. That is not the idea at all. Celebrate it. Have fun, and so you should. You've been given senses so you can enjoy. The Lord has given you the senses. But don't get caught up. Every time you're singing a birthday song, remember where you are heading. Just like Ramesh said that. Where are you heading? I'm 40 today. The next time you sing a song for me, guess what? He'll be 41. You're heading closer and closer to the expiry date. Yes or no? The only truth is we are all born with an expiry date. Now that's a good news also in that. When we know the expiry date, let us say you know the expiry date. What do? You try to use it up and use it well before the date comes up. Yes or no? Best before. Likewise, every human body has an expiry date, which means there is a great responsibility on our shoulder to make sure that you use this very valuable human life to the best as you can. Does as best mean just achieving results? Doing well at work? That's important. I want you all to succeed. You should all do well. That's why you're in a job. Else you wouldn't be. You should succeed, you should move on. Else you'll feel stale in the same role. I have never been... Look, I'm talking spirituality. I have never been in a role for longer than 18 months. In the whole 15 years with the bank. Same company, never been in one role for longer than 18 months. Moving on. You have to constantly keep learning, you see. You have to give something to your brain to do. Having said that, is that all I should do? Yes, I got this job, I did well. I got another job, I did well. I got a promotion, I got 100 sales, I got a bonus, great. So I have to work for my bonus again next year. No, I did My sales last year, why can't I get a bonus now again? Sorry, love, you have to do it again. That's material world. I was a gold medalist when I did my MBA. Good for you. What are you doing now? What are you worth now? You know, when you go to an employer, I'm sorry to say this, but that's how they are. Good, you're a gold medalist, but what have you achieved? What can you do for me? What's in it for me? When every single person is thinking, what's in it for me, I want you all to wake up and realize I'm spending so much time gratifying my senses and doing what I want to do, running after desires, fulfilling my desires. What am I doing to feed my soul? What am I doing to feed my soul? எனக்கு உடம்பு சரியில்லை, நான் வேற உடம்பு வேறேனா அந்த நான்ங்கிறத grow பண்ணறதுக்கு what am I doing to grow and become a better person? If I were to tell you, I will give you 1 crore rupees today, spend it. Spend it. But 12 o'clock at midnight, whatever balance you have to leave it behind. You can't take it to the next day. There's no such thing as balance carried forward. How hard would you work to make sure that you spend every cent? But still you may not be able to send it. With a heavy heart, you're leaving it behind. But there's another hidden clause, fine line. I'm saying to you, tomorrow you'll be given another chance, but I can't guarantee that you'll be a human being again. You might be a cat on the street. You will still get 1 crore rupees, but will a cat have the consciousness to know what to do with it? I'm trying to make you realize the value of human life. It is not meant just to enjoy and satisfy your senses. You have to look within. You have to find out, why am I here? Is there anything beyond this 9 to 5? I know you're all very busy people. It's very difficult to find time to contemplate on all these things. You probably go to work at 7 in the morning and until 10 at night you're sitting in front of your laptop. Finding clients, growing clients, keeping them happy. What about you? What about you? Are you losing yourself? If there is no you, then what will you do with everything you've achieved? How will you keep them together? So, before I put everyone to sleep, how many of you are sleeping? Do I still have you all here? Yeah? Good. I've at least got 3 people saying yes. That's wonderful. If I have 5 of you thinking tonight, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. Because you know why? You're all the same business. Those 5 will influence you. I'll delegate the task to them. You have to know how to delegate to be successful. You don't take everything upon yourself and be a control freak. I want to do everything. Otherwise, nothing will get done. You know what? The good news is, no one is indispensable. The bad news is, everyone is dispensable. Nothing stops because you're not around. Given that, shouldn't you be spending time on looking within? Feed your soul. Do something. If meditation is your thing, do that. If reading a few verses of the Gita, do that. You know, has anyone been to the Dhanvantari Mandir at Ramanathapuram? Yeah? Good, wonderful. If you've ever had a chance to go to the pharmacy, they have a hospital there, Arya Vaidya. Of course they give medicines for ailments, but there's a thing that they have got put up. Read 3 verses of the Gita every night. That's the prescription. Read at least 3 verses of the Gita every night. Because there is no question that is unanswered in the Bhagavad Gita. Whether it be for a kid, whether it be for a management consultant, whether it be for a CEO. I'm here to tell you that there is nothing that's unanswered. It's a science. You can pay 2,000 rupees or $2,000 and go listen to Anthony Robbins. The Lord is giving it to you for free. And you know what? Those great speakers probably don't even acknowledge where the knowledge is coming from. I've only just begun to realize. So on that note, I'd just like to encourage all of you, spend your day the way you're doing it. Keep few minutes to reflect on what you have done each day. Just sit back, relax, with a cup of coffee if you want, and think back, what did I do today? Was everything that I did today worthwhile? Could I have cut out some things? Could I have made some things better? Could I handle some of these things differently? Could I do it better? Because if you follow the same strategy, the results will be the same, you see. You have to change things if you want a different result. So I hope you all got something out of this. But even if you get 1 or 2 points to take away, I'd be happy. On that note, I'd like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak. And I'd like to leave you all to enjoy Ramesh's Christmas cake and the rest of the evening. Thank you.